Now is the time.
Forever? Tangent. Old.
Halt.
Hashtag always MGM.
You are approaching the unloading area.
Calm down. AK haters.
But what if it could?
Behold the majesty of the Sistine Ceiling.
For the kids.
A salute to all theme parks, but mostly Walt Disney World.
What a cute ending.
Aloha and
Don't Dillo it.
This is Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank, and we are here at DillosDizResort.com. It is part 2 of our Walt Disney World trip report from mid-August. We're recording this on Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2024 at DillosDizResort.com. That, of course, is our Patreon with memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. DillosDizResort.com. Jen has altered her screen setup here to give some variety to this 2 podcast recording tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So if you see this bucket behind me, this is what I was sitting on during the last episode. I was like, I am dying. I can't sit here anymore. So then I just came down to the floor and then I put the computer down. Like, this isn't a great angle. I don't know what to do. So I'm moving buckets around. If anyone sees this is it's a top of a guitar case. I want to explain what some things are in the background. Just things look weird. So, but here I am. I'm back. And now it's sitting on. How old do you think this carpet is in the attic of Mama and Papa Dillo's?
At least 40 years old.
40 years. 40-year-old carpet.
And I would push towards 44 or 45 years old.
Was the attic not finished when you moved in?
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, I think
shows
everything
carpet.
underneath that carpet is the most drab of 1950s green.
We have to peel it up. That has to be an episode.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I mean, I have to get Papadillo to confirm that on an audio question.
Yeah.
Maybe is that I remember it being green. That's what I remember.
Right.
Like
Interesting.
just pale, drab, hospital green.
I wonder if he's still awake. I'm gonna message Mama Dillo, see if we can get an answer for everybody here in real time.
That's a good
as we
plan.
continue. Yes.
Like we said, this is part 2 of our trip report from August, mid-August. We were in the Walt Disney World theme parks in that was prior to our Disney cruise. That was the 15th and 16th of August. Last week, we thought we'd at least get to day 1, and we didn't, mostly because we had to tell this tale of Jen biffing my surprise, which could be happening on this theme park Thursday at Savvy's. You say Savvy's, I say Savvy's. Castaway Key, Castaway K, Caribbean. I don't know. We should do the whole song with the things that we say.
We should. We could make a whole thing and then throw in some Papadillo malaprops.
I had another Papadillo malaprop the other day. I got to write these things down. I thought of one and I was like, oh, that's a malaprop. And now I don't remember it as we're talking about it. So, yeah, will I be at Savvy's today on...
I don't know.
Maybe. Go back to the podcast archives and listen to part 1. That dropped on September 5th for that whole story. But we are here to talk about the 15th and the 16th of August. And I briefly mentioned last week that part of the struggle of our park hoppers that we decided on for those 2 days is that we became prisoners of the virtual queue. And we had a lot of people visiting the Disney parks for the first time in 2 years. We were trying to negotiate all party, trying to serve all the masters in our party of 9. And, Tron and Tiana's were both in play. And Thursday morning, prior to our 7:35 Ohana reservation, we were standing outside the boardwalk lobby waiting for your Uber and my minivan. And of course, everything arrived just as 7 a.m. hit.
Yeah.
To this day, I'm not quite sure what happened. Because we failed at Tiana's, which then was like, oh no, this just threw the next 2 days out of whack
Mm-hmm.
entirely. But at some point, a couple of hours later, we realized everybody gets to go on Tron, even though many of us are not going on Tron.
Yeah. Yeah. It was all very weird because you even said like everything went really quick. You were already on the minivan.
Yeah.
We were still waiting. There was another guy, another guest of Walt Disney World, who was like, I think we're all out here doing the same thing at the same time. And he had been refreshing and he missed it too. He's like, I don't know what happened. It said there was an error and now everything's gone. And I still don't know if there was a glitch in the system.
Right.
And then if maybe somebody tried to hit something else at some point, it like took certain people, and I don't know what happened fully. But yeah, then later on I was like, oh, look, we have Tron. Like what?
Mhm.
How do we have that?
And so when you get a boarding group that's not like first thing in the morning, you're like, how long am I spending in the Magic Kingdom after my Ohana reservation, which of course is as perfect gets.
Yes.
An Ohana morning, followed by the MK.
The best.
How long am I going to be in the Magic Kingdom for? Because Mrs. Dillo and Mr. Dillo and the 8-year-old all wanted on Tron.
Yes.
That was a goal.
Yeah.
So when you have boarding group, whatever it was in the 60s or something, or maybe I can't remember. One was 70s, one was 60s. We'll get to Tiana in a second. But you knew like it's going to go into the afternoon. But how long into the afternoon it's going to go is anybody's guess.
Right.
So as we mentioned last week, Papa Dillo had a motorized scooter, courtesy of Apple Scooters. Mama Dillo did not yet have a scooter.
Nope.
So that was also part of the situation. As we went into the MK, we felt it was only fitting, since Papa Dillo was making his return to MK, that we start at It's a Small World.
Obviously.
We did a little photo shoot first.
Yeah.
In front of the castle.
Of course. A big photo shoot, one we were not expecting.
No, it was very large with a lot of and then you 2, and then you 3, and then you 4, and now the 3, and the 4, and the 2, and they're like, and we just wanted a group photo. Is that okay?
We'll just take one. It'll just be all of us. It's okay.
That's all we want to do. I know you're being a really nice photographer and bringing to Disney Magic by putting all the proper families together. And you're going to put us with Mama and Papa Dillo? We don't have a picture like that in 100 years. Okay, I mean, that was a good idea.
And it's really funny because he said, I'm going to take the picture that they didn't think about taking 30 years ago. And I was like, yeah, this is true. I don't like when I go back in the archives of the photo albums and all the things. It's hard to find pictures of the 4 of us in Disney in a photo unless it's when the photo pass started or prior to that, it's us dressing up in one of the, what were those things called? I don't even know what to call them.
Yeah, I'm like a glamour. It's not like a glamour shoot, but you get a little scenes set up and
Right.
Yeah.
And they put in the characters like a little cartoon, thing and whatever. But yeah, like I don't see many photos of like the 4 of us.
No.
Disney.
So right, and so like the guys 100%, and to say that you're gonna get if we do have any of those photos, one or the 2 of us look awkward.
Oh sure.
And probably in the earlier ones, it's me looking awkward, and then in the later ones, it's Jen looking awkward.
Correct.
So that's what you're getting.
And then there are a couple. There's like, we have one from the Christmas party with Nanny Dillo in it, and I think all of us in that one look as if we're being tortured. I'm not sure what happened, but all of us have this look on our face like we didn't want to take this picture, but here we are. I don't know what happened.
I'll have to look at the date of that one again, whether it's the first or because we went to Very Merry Christmas Party twice in those days, like 2 years in a row. And so if it was the first year, I feel like one of the years it was cold, and one of the years we had never seen it that busy before because we had not yet gone in the summertime. So I'm curious. I would have to think about that.
Right.
In the later years of the podcast, when we think we're winding down, I think for a full year we have to try to do each week and see if one of us was in a park that week and both of us and talk about what was going on that week. And I feel like that like a full year of that.
Of what?
We would never have a guest on again, and that would be odd. But
Give me an example of how you see that going.
Like like if it was a Thursday, like before Memorial Day weekend, we would talk about an old Memorial Day weekend trip that you took down to see me,
Right.
On the long holiday weekend when I was
Right.
younger, and I
Yeah.
grew up with the penny, and so.
Right. I mean, because once we get to the mid 2000s, that's going to be rough. But I can do my best.
Right. I mean, but that's how you fill in all the other weeks, right? It's
Right,
because we worked all that other time. So we actually could get through 52 weeks fine,
Yeah.
probably, but it's just a matter of, do we know what actually happened that week? I don't know.
Right. Like we were here. That's all I got for you. That's the episode.
Yeah. So so the photo shoot, great. It's a Small World, great. And then of course things go a little screwy. We're watching the Tron virtual queue, but we're thinking, and that's me and Mrs. Dillo and the 8-year-old thinking, let's go get our Thunder Mountain trip now.
Yeah.
I forget what you guys were gonna do at that time.
We were going to go to Pirates.
You were still going to Pirates,
Yes.
yeah. So that was going to be the split early on. But when we got the Thunder, or you called and was like, nope, we already see that Thunder Mountain is down, and Thunder Mountain was down for a long time that day, and that is the 8-year-old's favorite ride. So now we got two things that I know that I'm going to have to go to the Magic Kingdom back-to-back days. You got Tiana's with the virtual queue, hoping for the 1 o'clock, but really, I don't know what was going to happen when it was so easy to walk into Epcot that night. We were going to go all the way back to the Magic Kingdom that night. It didn't seem that way.
Right.
But, between potentially not riding Tiana's and Thunder Mountain that day, are like, I'm going to the Magic Kingdom on Friday. It's already inevitable.
Yeah.
But we went on Pirates. Yeah.
Can I interrupt for one moment? Because for those of you watching on video, I'm not sure if you just saw like me just experiencing what looked like an earthquake. It's just the Long Island Railroad going by when I saw the video and everything shaking. I'm like, is anything gonna fall up here? Sorry about that. So yes, Pirates were
I explained to me, because in the moment, I don't know. Previously, did the 7 and a 10-year-old not care for Pirates too much? What was their feelings on it?
No, I think they liked Pirates. And I think I don't know that we probably just did it like once a trip prior, but no, they liked Pirates, and I recall using the example of the Pirates dip of like, see, it's fine. It's totally fine, and all of that.
You're trying to plant the seeds for Tiana's as well.
I was trying, yes.
The 8-year-old had been indifferent on Pirates.
Okay.
So that, I think this was her most enjoyable trip on Pirates was this time around. But we did the back-to-back because of the short line.
Yes.
Which I think was the case for most of the lines were not that bad that day.
Yes, I would like to say, for those of you traveling with older folk or your parents or whatever, just help them through that queue. They need more lighting in that queue, and they need more warnings of the turns. Some of those turns are a little tight around poles or walls, or there's just more lighting might be needed. Thank you.
When we finish #Dillo's Madness, whenever that may be, one of the stories in #Dillo's Madness is about Nanny Dillo not seeing the turns too well in the Tom Sawyer's Island cave, and we have realized that perhaps we were mean kids. But similarly to the Pirates of the Caribbean queue, maybe the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And Mama and Papa Dillo, 10 to 12 years older than Nanny Dillo was way back then.
Yeah.
So Pirates back-to-back, followed by a Dole Whip.
Yeah, of course.
In
one of the two acceptable places.
Yeah, two acceptable, but the primo.
Yes.
You're going right there.
Yeah.
In Adventureland.
Yes.
You could have a Dole Whip. And then, and maybe I had an agenda behind this, but it was hard because I was like, I do want to see this, but I also know that some people are going to need the air conditioning and the sit down time. So I pushed maybe more than once to see this new version of Country Bear Jamboree. I'm ready to see this show every trip now.
It was pretty good. You know who loved it the most and will never admit it?
Papa Dillo.
Mrs. Dillo.
Oh, Mrs. L. That's true. Yeah, she'll never.
She's not going to admit it. I saw her.
Yeah.
I saw her enjoying it.
Mhm.
Listen, they got some catchy songs. Listen, also.
Listen, Mrs. Dillo hates the kitsch so much she doesn't want to admit that she liked that. She hates kitsch.
She was enjoying herself.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
You're fine. Oh, hold on. Hey, Papa Dillo, are you down there? He's coming up. Hold on. I'll edit this part out.
Climbing those stairs? Get out of here.
No, not these stairs.
Huh.
Dad.
Dad.
I don't know where he went now. Oh, well. Okay, back to the episode.
I think you got to keep that just for Dad.
Dad. No.
Jeffers is asking, no hoop-de-doo for Mrs. Dillo? Gosh, I don't know. It would be tough. I think she might secretly like that one too. That's a hard one. That's hard.
Yeah. She loved it though. Oh, so the songs, all catchy songs that they're singing, and that Country Bears, including that Zootopia song. The I Won't Give Up, the Shakira Zootopia song, which I feel like we also heard on the cruise a ton. And I'm like, I never gave this song enough love.
That's my exact thought on it. Like when Zootopia played on Funnel Vision, I was like, oh, the song. I like this song. Now, I'm a big fan of Shakira. Not as much as Dua Lipa, but I enjoy Shakira's song.
It's not Dua Lipa level. Come on, people.
It's Dua Lipa, and it's like Shakira. And so it's fine. But but I do enjoy Shakira. So I'm surprised that I actually didn't realize like I would enjoy that song more because I enjoy it. But I feel like that's a gateway now through the Country Bear Jamboree. Totally enjoyable. And you need the air conditioning. Why are you not going to go in there for a half an hour? Come on.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
And probably by next year, I will already have seen that show more than I did the original.
Oh, yeah. We may have already. We don't know. We can't even remember the one time we did that we think we did. So
I feel like there's one time.
Yeah.
Okay, then is that I'm trying to remember what happened. There's like kind of a haze there. I think when I started getting anxiety about the 1 o'clock virtual queue about there was lunch.
No, but we did. I think we did the carousel before lunch.
We did the carousel before lunch.
Because on the carousel, I think we were like, you guys are going to stay for Tron. The rest of us will head back to the hotel. You know what? Why don't we eat before then? Because they're not calling the groups anyway. We have to eat anyway. So we'll do that. So we went on the carousel and then not the carousel of progress. The what is it? Prince Charming's
Regal. No, get out of here. It's Cinderella's Golden Carousel. It's a Prince Charming's Regal.
What's it called?
I think it's called Prince Charming's Regal something or other.
All right. Just called the carousel. And then we went over to Pinocchio's. What a disappointment to eat. And so
I gotta go. I wanted to do it this time, and again, it was like repeating myself from 2 years ago. I feel like I'm just repeating history here. But so crowded in Pinocchio's. But because Michelle dropped that fun fact that there's a wish book in there, I gotta get in there and write in the wish book. As mentioned on Hyperion Adventures podcast, make sure to check them out every Sunday on your favorite podcatcher. Bring back the cheeseburgers. Because Papa Dillo, not that you can't eat the red meat either.
No.
But he's eating that new chicken parmesan sandwich that just got introduced this summer.
Which you shouldn't be eating either.
Anyway, I don't know.
Did you write in the book? Did you write in the book?
I didn't get to write in the book.
Yeah.
I got to get in there during Not So Scary.
Anyway, and I feel bad now that I said what a disappointment. I love Pinocchio's. I love being in Pinocchio's. Yeah. I love sitting at those tables. I love the window to Small World. I love being in there. It is like it is one of my favorite like vibes of a quick service. Just bring back the burgers.
That's it.
Stop with all these crazy foods you add to the menu. I had a Caesar salad because I didn't want to wait for anything gluten-free. And I got the Caesar salad without the croutons. And I did that because last time I ordered a gluten-free thing, I got mine after all 8 other people were done with their meals, and I'm like, just give me a salad. I'll just eat the salad. I don't care. I want a burger. And if there's burgers, I'll take a gluten-free bun, so I guess I'll have to wait. But I just want a burger in Pinocchio's while I wave to people on Small World.
Like, and if you got to take the steps, take this. It shouldn't be a chicken parmesan sandwich in Pinocchio.
Now,
Like, what? Because of Stromboli, he's Italian, so you got to put a chicken parm in there. Get
they're
a
making
hot
it
dog in
very
there, for God's
Italian
sake.
because there's pizza on the menu. They were trying out these different pizzas over the time.
It's spelled Haus. You got to put a hamburger in there.
Yeah.
Village House. Anyway, we can't spend that much time on Pinocchio's. People know how we feel about it.
You
Okay,
already know.
we still got a whole other day to do. We're at 1 o'clock on the first day. Meanwhile,
Because we are at 1 o'clock because that's where we tried for the second round of the virtual queue was in Pinocchio's.
and we failed again.
And we failed again. But because we couldn't get
Oh,
it for everyone because of Tron.
yeah.
So news to the Dillos because we're not good with the lightning lanes and the genie that doesn't exist anymore and the virtual queues. We don't know how any of it works. So we're like, oh, we'll just go for Tiana. Oh, you can't do that because your Tron group hasn't been called yet? Oh, well, fantastic. That's
Right.
great.
And we're not going to the Magic Kingdom the rest of the day. We're gonna go to Epcot that night, and we're gonna try at 7 a.m. again.
Yep.
So the split happens. We don't need to go into the shopping portion that we did. We were in the Emporium for a little bit,
Yep.
but the 8-year-old Mr. Snidillo, Mrs. Dillo on Tron, but as Mr. Snidillo thinks he's got a tradition here with us that he goes on an adventure with the three of us.
Yeah.
A couple of years back, it was me and Mrs. Dillo and him on Guardians,
Mm-hmm.
and so this year was Tron. But on the way, we realized, because it was getting close to the boarding group time.
Yeah.
We realized that Space Mountain only had a half an hour wait.
We gotta do that. The
8-year-old, the only thrill ride she has been hesitant about going on because of the you're in the
You're by
car
yourself.
by yourself.
Mm-hmm, I get it.
So it didn't take much convincing, which was
Mhm.
great. We didn't spend like 20 minutes trying to convince her. It was like, let's do it. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, okay. And of course she loved it. And we
Yeah.
went back again on Friday.
Yeah.
So, but when you go on Space Mountain at 2.5 minutes,
Mhm.
before you go on Tron, you're going to get an opinion from the 8-year-old, which is, it was too short. Yeah, but the beginning and the launch and she's like, nah, that part was cool. It was too short.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you and the majority think the same way.
Yeah, you get it.
What was
8-year-old.
I don't know if I know Mr. Snidillo's thoughts on Tron entirely.
No, I think he liked it a lot.
He did not. I was next to him. He did not scream like you.
Nope. He did look very serious in that photo. I'm like, what is this photo? What are you doing? What's wrong? he's like, because the first angle I saw, which he just looks like mad or like he's figuring something out. And I'm like, what is his face? And then he's like, no, I think I was doing the one eyebrow up. And the other angle does show his one eyebrow up. I go, but still, why is that the face? I don't understand.
What are you so focused on?
What's going on?
What is affected you?
But yeah, I think he was just like, what is happening? No, but I think he enjoyed it. I think he probably feels the same way that it is a shorter ride, but no, he liked it otherwise. Yeah.
And then, so we did those two. We somehow managed to beat the afternoon rain
Mhm.
and get back to the hotel for a quick nap, which everyone needed.
Yeah. Where I was already napping in my deluxe resort bed. Glorious.
So we went over to Epcot that night, and this is where we're trying to squeeze too much really started to
This
settle
is
down.
where it all started to happen.
Start to unravel a little bit. So again, trying to make everybody happy.
Uh-huh.
Mama and Baba Dillo, all they want to do is go on Soarin'.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the bowl.
and the ball.
Mhm.
Me and Mrs. Dillo and the 8-year-old were like, we haven't been on Remy's yet.
Yeah.
You went through the experience prior to obtaining the DAS pass
Mhm.
for the 10-year-old,
Yeah.
prior to which you said went very smoothly.
Yes. I personally had a smooth experience with the DOS Pass. We have had it before for the 10-year-old. We were able to get it again for the 10-year-old.
So he was gonna lead the three of us
Uh-huh.
onto Remy's,
Mhm.
which he was very excited about.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to figure everything. We're trying to figure out the timing of everything. It didn't go well because the other thing we had to squeeze in the middle was none of us had been to the Journey of Water.
Uh-huh.
And Moana and the whole thing. So we knew we had that. And we got to do that when the lights are, because we want to see the ball in the background with the lights. And why are we pigeonholing ourselves so much?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
So we go to Soren. And I mean, there was a whole separate side expedition with us because we went to Allen Compass for dinner.
Yeah.
But
it's fine.
You just said you went to breakfast last time. That's right. We went twice, and breakfast and dinner on in these couple of days. Okay, much Allen Compassing was done.
You can get a reservation.
Can you see? I'm starting to get tense as the time in the park goes on. So we're like, okay, Soren,
Mm-hmm.
Journey of Water.
Uh-huh.
Now then it would be a split.
Yeah.
With Remy's and Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
That seemed like a plan.
Yeah.
However, there was no room for error.
Mm-hmm.
So, Soren,
Mm-hmm.
fine, right? You would say.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the far end, so the Eiffel Tower was
Did
looking
we do that
awfully...
first? Oh, yeah, we did do that first. That's right. Mm-hmm.
The Eiffel Tower was looking awfully Eiffel-y with its hook.
Yeah.
We go
Soren for the first ride for the 10 and 7-year-old.
Oh,
ever.
that's right. Yeah, which
Mhm.
was a big deal, and they seemed to both like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were, yes, new favorite for
New
them.
favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go over to Journey of Water, and did we spend as much time as we should have? We should have spent more time. Would you say? Don't you think?
A Journey of Water. Yeah.
spent
We kind of, I think Mrs. Dillo broke the glass for us on that one the next day, going like, you guys just kept going. All right, go to the next one. And I don't know if that was part my anxiety of, I don't want to get in anyone's way. Did you see it? Okay, just give someone else a turn. I don't know if that's my thing. I'm like, let's keep it moving. We're not going to be those people. We will not be the people taking up the time. But yeah, I think we probably could have spent some more time during that, but it was still lovely.
Yeah, it was. So I mean, and we went back. I'll skip. I mean, won't say this when we talk about the next morning, but we went the next morning too. I definitely, again, I have a secret special place in my heart for Moana.
Yeah.
But so I love all things Moana, and this is totally satisfied that little thing for me. And so, then we're on the clock. So now, because Mr. Snidello is with the 10-year-old, he's going to bring the 10-year-old over, leading us to France to go on Remy's.
Mm-hmm.
You go over to the ball so you can share your part. I'm just going to say flat out, we get to France. It's 8:40, and it was unclear, which makes me unhappy, about whether or not the ride was down or they have just chosen to stop letting people on for the night, even though we could have gotten on anytime after 7:40 until park closing. That was what it said.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like their lack of clarity.
Interesting. When, just as a question, on the way to Remy, did you go to Mexico?
No, that was before, because we wanted to get into park to set the wheels in motion for the timing.
Right, for the DOS. Yeah.
So then while we were waiting for the rest of you, we
I
went to
see. That's right.
Mexico for
Okay. So you went because you went on that ride
Yes.
as well.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, and for Remy, 2 years ago, the same thing happened.
Mhm.
Where you were going to go on with the 10-year-old,
Yes.
then the 8-year-old,
Yes.
and it was shut down.
Yeah.
That's what you got there. So now there's a curse on Remy.
So right, so then that changes everything for the next morning, where we're like, well, do we try to go back to Remy's at the start of the day, because it can be a very quick on? Do we? We're going to try for Tiana's virtual queue at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, there's no way we're hitting all 9 again. We're not getting on. And then of course,
Yeah.
Mr. Snidell is like, boom, We
Yes.
nail it.
Yeah. Wait. Wait.
Ah.
We have to go back. We have to go
We
back.
can't be on here all night long.
I know that. With the Spaceship Earth and Mexico and Soren and Moana, you guys also watched fireworks in person.
Oh, true.
Your Dillo clan.
The three of us, Mrs. Dillo and I, grabbed a couple of beers, and we in of all places in World Showcase Plaza with pretty good standing rooms views.
Yeah.
Watched Luminous, the Symphony of Us, the Symphony of Us, from the World Showcase Plaza and right on the lagoon. 2
viewings for you in one trip.
2 viewings of Luminous.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me hesitant about the meetup this coming weekend. On like, do I need to say Luminous again? I don't know.
Right, fair enough. All right, now we can go to day 2. Yes, 7 a.m.
Yes, Mr. Snidello hits the Tiana's jackpot, but again, he's got this like he doesn't have like number 9, boarding group 9. He's got like in the 70s or the 60s or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So again, we're like, okay, when do we have to be in the Magic Kingdom? Now, based on Tron, we're like, all right, we at least have to get there in the afternoon.
Yes.
So we're like, well, we're at the boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into Epcot. Let's get onto Remy's. Let's ease through Epcot. Get on the monorail and go over to the Magic Kingdom. That will start the day. There was still a Hollywood studio situation to attend to, so we put that towards the evening.
And let me just say, again, this is a very anti-Dillo trip. We like breaks. We like taking our time. We like the pockets. We like taking it out. Papa Dillo's like, where are we going today? We're like, we're going to breakfast at Allen Compass. We'll figure it out at breakfast. Don't worry about it. We have some options. Let's go. We got to figure it out. And he's like, you don't know where we're going today? No, it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. And I also have to pick up a Mama Dillo scooter now. So everything's fine. And we figure it all out. But yeah. And I am so happy that we decided on Epcot that morning.
Yeah. How about you give your version of the story?
So because we're coming from the boardwalk, we go into Epcot our favorite way through International Gateway. And so we're going over and we go through, and the kids they like the maps. So, we're grabbing some maps for them, and we're off to the side, just like, grouping up from, Papa Dillo. He can't go through the metal detectors. They got the scooters. They take a little longer at security. So we're just like off to the side. And as we're off to the side, Frank comes up to me, basically right in my face, my brain not processing what he's saying, but he's saying, can I just tell you that Dale, Jennifer, and Dee Dee are right across from us right now? And literally I was like, I don't know what words you're saying right now, and I don't know what you're talking about. And I could literally feel my brain trying to process, like, what did you just say? And then you kind of like go like a little nudge over your shoulder, and I look up and I'm like, oh my God. And you start laughing and whatever. And I'm like, well, we have to say hi. I don't want to bother them.
Because they were leading. They had a big group that they were leading through the parks.
Yes.
That had been planned well in advance. And I was like, oh, that's weird that they're going to be there the same dates we are. We didn't know where they were going, what parks they were going to, anything like that.
No.
But
we didn't know what parks we were going to, for goodness sakes.
But we suddenly collide, basically, and of course, immediately the I can see my face is red right now talking about it, but the self-judgment settles in on me, almost 50 years old. I'm like, I don't want to be like a groupie right now, like them and stalking them, and I know where they're staying. I don't know any of this information. They got off at the Skyliner, I guess, and they're here at the International Gateway. I was at the boardwalk. I don't know.
And Jennifer has been on the podcast. We met her at 90s Con. Dee Dee has been on the podcast. We met her at 90s Con. Yeah. Dale, we have not met, but we have had intel that he is sometimes behind accounts that are sharing our things. So we're like, me, everybody, little old me.
She gets her Josh Tomorrow energy on.
Only in Epcot do I do these things. And in the pavilions of Epcot do I decide to go up to people. And I was like, doing it. So I go up to Jennifer and I go, Jennifer, hi, Jen, thank goodness I also was wearing my Dillo's dish shirt at that
You're
time,
still
so that
floating?
really helped. And she was like, "Oh my God, hi, big hug." Dale comes over. "What are the chances?" And gives me a hug. What is happening? So then, Frank, I don't even know where you had been, but you appear out of nowhere
Yeah.
to say
Just
hi.
my Dillo had come up to me. He's like, Jen went for it. Why aren't you going up there?
So we're all like in disbelief, and they're like, "You want to take a quick picture?" And they're telling their group to walk slow, and we're like, "We don't want to bother you. It's fine, whatever." But we take a quick picture, and then awkwardly, we're like walking next to their group because we were heading towards Norway to go on Frozen. I'm
Which
not
didn't
sure
work
where
out.
they were heading, but we were like on the side, and we have the kids, and we got the scooters, and and I'm just like, God, if I was by myself, I'd be like zipping across so that I would go ahead of them and they don't think I'm near them.
But instead, it was like side by side.
But instead, we're just literally walking next to them, and I'm like, don't make eye contact. Just happen to be here. I swear to God, we just happen to be here. We're just going this way. At some point, we split off. I don't know when that happened, and we never saw them again. But that moment was like, well, we made the right decision, because even at breakfast, we were still debating, maybe we go to studios. We'll go to studios, then over to we were still debating what to do. And we made the right choice, because that moment was everything.
Well, and again, it's one of those things we've been doing the podcast all these years of like, this show is called Theme Park Thursday for a reason, and it's because, well, what would we call our day of the week? Like Mickey Mouse Club style, as they call it. Let's call it Theme Park Thursday. So, I mean, that is why this is called Theme Park Thursday, is like kind of a tip of the hat, as it were, to the Mickey Mouse Club, and so, yeah, at this point, I'm like, how. Like, this is all like this is our world, which is very like
very
difficult
weird.
to not feel self-conscious about.
Yeah.
So we don't get on because Frozen said one time, we're like, let's go for it. We get there, it says another time entirely.
And that line was wrapped.
It was like, I'm not getting online in China.
Not doing it.
So we make our way slowly but surely. Jen refuses to go in Communicore Hall. We go to Remy's. We make it on.
I refuse to go. That's not accurate. But we didn't even get. I don't even know where it was. We didn't even get in front of the ball at all. We didn't see so much of Epcot on our 2 quick 5-minute trips there. We didn't see so much of it. But you guys finally made it to Remy's.
We made it to Remy's and got, the 10-year-old was so happy that he introduced us to the attraction, which was awesome. And we go on and get right on quick. I look forward to the day that it's not 60-minute waits anymore.
Yeah. No.
I enjoyed it, but I was surprised because some people say, oh, the motion sickness is a thing. And, I'm always curious about that, but I didn't experience any of that. Maybe because I drank enough water that morning. But I enjoyed the attraction. It's just like, I'm not waiting more than, maybe I would wait 30 at this point. I don't know.
I don't know if I would wait 30. And while you were doing that, me, Mom and Papa Dillo, and the 7-year-olds were going to go ride Soarin' all over again, because Soarin' was saying 10-minute wait. We're like, great, let's go over there. We go over there. That queue line was at the start, right under the sign that's saying 10 minutes. And I'm like, this is not 10 minutes. This is at the start of the queue. This is not... But we're like, okay, maybe they're filtering people weird. Whatever. We got online. We walked a little bit. And we're like, no, this is not going to be 10 minutes. We're not even moving. Then we start seeing people leaving. And we're like, people are now leaving. So then I go out. And I look up. And it still says 10 minutes. I'm like, they're not adjusting this time. What is happening? I go back again. More people start leaving. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go ask the cast member, like, if something's secretly going on. And as I'm doing that, they're stanchioning off the line. They have made the weight jump to 55 because one side of the theater was down, and so now they're like, it'll be back up, and I'm like, oh no, we were doing this for a 10-minute wait. We're out now, and we went over to Imagination, so we got a little Figment time while you were getting some Remy time over there.
Take me through, and again, I'm watching the time, but take me through convincing Papa Dillo to do a meet and greet with Figment.
That was him.
Yeah.
So we I did nothing. We go on Imagination. We come off on Imagination. Judging after the Ohana breakfast, we learned the 7-year-old not a fan of the characters unless they're princesses, or probably any face character. I see Figment come out. I'm like, what? Figment's out. I gotta go see Figment. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go take a selfie with Figment. And she's like, I'm gonna stay here. I'm like, okay, you stay with Grandma and Grandpa. I'm going over to take a picture with Figment. I'm waiting online. Here comes Papa Dillo. So I'm thinking he's gonna ask me a question. He goes, I'm gonna take the picture with you. I'm like, what? Okay. Yes, this is amazing. This is gonna be amazing content. And then so as we're getting closer, I'm like, I'm also going to give this person I'm the what is the assistant to Figment called? I'm the guide, the
attendant character.
The attendant, that's the word I was looking for. I give her my phone going, can you also take a picture? I didn't realize my phone was on live mode, which is always great because then I could make little videos out of it. So she was snapping photos as Papa Dillo walks up, high fives Figment right away. I'm like, we're high fiving Figment. All right, let's go. Let's do it. Poses with the picture. That was all him. That had nothing to do with me whatsoever.
Hilarious. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. To add, when you were on the ride, at the end, when Figment sings a song, is he happy, Papa Dillo?
Did you get was behind. He was in the behind seats. Maybe though. I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Want to go to Imagination? So
I mean, but that, you go on that. I mean, everyone complains about the ride. We complain about the ride. It's not like the original. We all understand.
Yeah.
But when Figment sings a song at the end, come on.
All is right with the world.
That's all you're there for.
Now, we went out to the Essential Fountains after.
Yeah.
The fountains weren't jumping. And then the other ones, the Essential, they weren't flowing on this day. It's fine. I still got a little hint of it, but they weren't flowing on that day. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of pictures in front of the kids in front of the. Okay, so again, we did a little Journey of Water.
Back to Journey of Water.
And then I feel like more lights came on here suddenly. I don't know. It was very weird. But then we did go over to the Magic Kingdom. With the Tiana's being the goal. At that point, it went down to 7 of us. Right? How many is there? 3 and 4? 7.
Yeah, but all of us were in Magic Kingdom at this point.
At that point, yes.
Yes, because and then 7 of us took the railroad, and 2 of us were scooting, and we all went kind of different ways. So you, Mr. Snidillo, the 8-year-old, and Mrs. Dillo were going to Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain, right.
Me, the 10-year-old, the 7-year-olds were going to meet Mama and Papa Dillo over by Dumbo, which we did.
Yeah.
And then me, the 10-year-old, the 7-year-old, and Papa Dillo went on Dumbo. Obviously.
How was it late for Dumbo? I didn't ask that time.
A typical wait for Dumbo. So 5 minutes.
What is a typical? I mean, these days, I don't understand, right? Back in the day, when there was just like one thing of Dumbo, you used to wait for a while.
Yeah.
Then they created the 2, and I feel like nobody waits anymore.
Yeah. It's probably
Peter Pan.
Yeah.
You used to walk right on.
Yeah.
Now. So is it that the kids who wrote Dumbo were kids hate Dumbo, so they don't take their kids on these days? But they loved Peter Pan, so now everybody goes on Peter. Like, I don't understand what happened.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Dumbo used to be, we all know what Dumbo is, but so it's not like, oh, I can't believe I didn't get on Dumbo. It's not like that, but it always was like, nah, that line's too long for Dumbo.
Yeah,
that was always the case.
Yeah. Now,
interesting.
Walk right on.
And
And
then
then
yeah.
I was like, well, we'll meet everybody over by the People Mover. Let's go. It's time. I walk up to the People Mover, and I knew it. I knew it from back by as soon as you turn that corner, when you can start to see a little bit of the line. And when I can see a line for People Mover, I know I'm in trouble. I know something's not working. And so I see the line wrapped, and I'm like, here we go. Here we go, People Mover. I'm here for a short amount of time, and you're not going to be. And I look, they're not sending anyone up. But the ride's going, but they're not sending anyone up. I'm like, no, I'm not playing this game. I got the kids. I got Mama and Papa Dillo. I can't be playing the game of will it or won't it, People Mover edition. So I was like, forget it. Let's all meet at Sunny's, and we'll have some lunch, and maybe, I'll see if I can get to it. But if not, it's fine. It's fine. I never got to it.
We did cross the park, and you ate with Sunny there. I got to have tacos at Pecos Bill. Well, the parade went by. That was new for me.
But I was with you. So why didn't you eat at Sunny's? What happened?
We were on Space Mountain again for the second time.
Oh, right. Okay, that's right. And then we went over.
We're gonna get a Crustable at Pecos Bills for what are they called? Crustables? I call them Inscrutables as my malaprop sometimes.
Uncrustables, yeah.
They're Uncrustables.
Yes.
So not only is Crustables a malaprop, but Inscrutables is also
correct. You have two for them.
That's great. Whoa.
Okay.
And that's how you know
losing.
The podcast is running. So I really want to focus on maybe 10 minutes here. We can talk about Tiana's, and then we're going to talk about #AlwaysMGM.
Okay.
Can we do that all in 10 minutes? You think so?
Yeah, sure. It's us. Why? We can totally keep it concise.
Okay. We get on Tiana's. Our boarding group is called. We get right through the queue. We get on the ride.
I already have to say something.
Okay, great.
If I could just give a tip. If you are a part of a party with someone who has a DOS pass with the virtual queue, and if you don't know this, because guess who didn't know this beforehand? Me. So if you're like me and you didn't know this beforehand, if you are working with a virtual queue but also have the DOS pass, you just let the cast member know once your boarding group is called. They'll kind of switch you over so you can go through the lightning lane. Yeah. That's all. Okay, go ahead.
That's a good tip.
Yep.
And hopefully that works for everybody and not just on a case-by-case basis.
I hope it does.
I mean, it's what they should do. But
right.
Keep us posted, everyone, in the Twitter world.
Yeah.
I know you will.
You always
get
do.
right through, get on the ride, go through the ride. We have our photo. Photo is awesome. The 7-year-old looks exactly like Jen in every photo of Splash Mountain all time. Not happy with the ride, though. Jen usually all right with the ride at the end. But 7-year-old, not
hates it. Hates it.
Hates Tiana's Bayou.
Hates it.
I hate the Bayou.
To the point where you're the one that told her that if she meets Tiana on the cruise, were you the one that said it?
Yeah.
That you said that if you meet Tiana, you should tell her how she didn't like the ride, and she went, "I would never tell her that."
And who was the first character she saw on the cruise?
Literally, the first one they met was Tiana on the cruise.
It was so funny. I was like, "Well, here it is. It's meant to be."
I would never say that to her.
I hate Tiana's Bayou. Enjoyable though. Mrs. Dillo talks about and listen, our final Splash Mountain ride, which was the three of us, Mrs. Dillo, the 8-year-old and I, 3 years ago, or whatever it was. The boats weren't cycling well either. We sat at the bottom of the hill for a very long time before we went up the hill, the final hill. But Mrs. Dillo's like, the boats are still not. The timing is still off.
Yes, for sure.
And that's a bigger problem than
Right.
anything on the ride whatsoever. The ride is great. I think
Yes.
we all have, and I've read recently that people do have different interpretations of what's happening throughout the attraction, and that's messing with the storytelling. I don't know if that's a myth or not, but I know amongst us, I heard different things. I was like, that's not what I thought it was.
Mhm. I have no clue because I was just trying to convince the 7-year-old that everything would be fine
Yeah.
the whole time. That's all I was doing, so I have no idea what was going on.
And yeah, we can get into that another. I think this should be maybe after the meetup if we all can get on Tiana's together.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be a broader conversation about that.
Mhm.
And then again, enjoyable, and I love seeing the theming of the attraction
Yeah.
for
Yes,
that.
for sure.
So no,
And happy we were able to make it on. I couldn't believe that, like,
Yeah.
to be able for you guys to get on Remy, for some of you guys to get on Tron who hadn't been on already, and to do Tiana's is like, that's a win for
Yeah.
48 hours of Disney.
I mean, right. And standing back as much as it was a lot of too much running around, that to go Journey of Water, Remy's, Tiana's, and still, basically old school Triple Mountain whammy on that Friday for, for the three of us. And then we go to studios that night, which, listen, Food and Wine opened on Labor Day weekend. And, people are like, well, at least it's not opening in July, and it doesn't run forever anymore. Can you please open Food and Wine in mid-August when Not So Scary starts so that the people are going to two different parks?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to Animal Kingdom that closes at 6 o'clock.
No.
Can you please go to two different parks? Because everyone was in Hollywood Studios that night.
Because there was a Mickey's Not So Scary. So we were like, oh, maybe the crowds will lessen because everyone goes to the party. Ha! No. Other way around.
That's a big negative.
Yeah. Everyone was at
Studios. And I do enjoy doing this exercise, mind you. I was like, have I not seen the studios like this since I worked here? Because when I worked in the mid to late 90s, people all came in the summertime back then.
Yeah.
So the summer was packed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know the last time I saw this park, and maybe I never have, because we have video of the early 90s. Didn't look like that.
Yeah.
Mid 90s, the crowds definitely increased over time, but it was busy.
Yes.
So we tried to eat dinner first. You had an interesting, fascinating Backlot Express experience, thinking quick service, right? No.
Gluten-free got me again, so it's not quick. We could skip by that.
And because this is Theme Park Thursday on September the 12th, and we are most likely in and around #AlwaysMGM, and now we're talking about MGM right now. Hey, let's just talk about the breakdown. We ate.
Yep.
You did some Star Tours.
Yeah.
You went towards Galaxy's Edge. The three of us, 8-year-old Mrs. Dillo and I, went and did the 80-minute Slinky Dog Dash wait, which was 80 minutes exactly.
Yeah.
And not so terrible. And then we tried to reconvene.
Yeah.
In Toy Story Land. We went through Galaxy's Edge because I want to talk about Rise of the Resistance at the end. Kind of what I'm waiting for. We tried to hit Muppets as our last thing. That was the plan. Should save the Muppets. Everyone's going crazy for the Muppets that mid-August week after D23 and Monsters Inc. and all the things. What's happening? Everybody calm down. But why is Muppet Vision 3D not working at 9:05? Why is it closed already?
Why are you shutting that down early?
So we do a quick, and then we're like, all right, Runaway Railway. Runaway Railway's Lightning Lane is out of control, so we know we're getting on that.
Yep.
But Papa Dillo is in front of the Great Movie Ride
for the first time
since the transition to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. You could see him become increasingly annoyed.
Like, just to himself. We're all standing around going, all right, we're not going to do Mickey and Minnie's. Do we do one more thing or are we getting out of here? Like, what are we doing? What? And he's just sitting, looking up at it, just getting annoyed.
So just building.
And then just start saying things such as, it's a disgrace. Have to get away from this. They should be embarrassed. They really should. Look at this. They should. It was hilarious. I'm like, what? Why have we not been recording this? Well,
I
we
know.
should have had on the scooter the whole time, which is a Dillo cam, so that we could catch things like that.
So Mom and Papa Dillo decide to hang out with Mrs. Dillo. Mrs. Dillo was like, I'm not going on Star Tours. We all decided to go on Star Tours, the 7-year-old's favorite ride.
Yes.
So we go back towards Star Tours. Mrs. Dillo and Mom and Papa Dillo hang out closer to Hollywood Boulevard. Ride Star Tours. And then we're getting the walkout that we love. The nighttime. Hashtag always MGM walkout.
Yeah.
Music and the neon and the Hollywood Boulevard. But then this 9 o'clock Fantasmic show dumps into Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
In
like
my day,
literally it's this everybody. Do, 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 gah!
in my day, you cut those people down Sunset Boulevard, behind Hollywood Boulevard,
Yeah.
and out by the crossroads and out through the main gate. What are you doing bringing everyone down to the end of Sunset Boulevard and turning them down Hollywood Boulevard? Why are you ruining my walkout?
Don't you know I'm walking out right now?
Fine. But I want to talk about Mama and Papa Dillo's first experience on Rise of the Resistance. I mean, let's not talk about how it messed up his back a little bit, okay? But
we won't talk about that.
I'm curious because this is a very, I mean, he's never going on Runaway Railway now because of his experience on Rise of the Resistance and how the vehicle treated him. I don't see him ever getting on Runaway Railway.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree. He would never go on it unless we're really like getting him on it anyway. So even if they went by themselves, it's not like he's going.
Lewis is asking if they go both ways. I did not see them
like
coming out of the front portion of the the side gate there.
Yeah.
At that time. Maybe I'm wrong, but I did not see it, and I looked for it. So but this is this is probably the biggest ride that they've gone on. And they know they had to deal with me since I was 2.5 years old with Star Wars. So I think it's interesting they didn't go on with me, but they went on with the 10-year-old who loves it.
Yeah.
So maybe just take us through that as we try to wrap things up here on Theme Park Thursday.
Yeah, I think it kind of just happened because with the Dust Pass, you can only have 4 people, including the person holding the pass, which is why there are times where we're splitting up like this. And we were also trying to make sure, because we had limited time, that the kids were all getting at least one thing they really wanted to do. So the 8-year-old really wanted to do Slinky, the 10-year-old wanted to do Rise, and the 7-year-old wanted to do Star Tours. So we did it 3 times again. At the first grouping was it was going to be a boys trip. Papa Dillo, Mr. Snidillo, the 10-year-old. And then when you decided to do Slinky for the 80-minute wait, you were like, Mama Dillo, go instead. And so they swapped out, and we are like, you should just go. You haven't been on it. You guys just go see the ride. Cause they're, we don't care. We don't have to see it. We're just go see the ride. Now I think they both thought it was a fantastic ride. They can see how cool of a ride that is. Yeah. I think, a lot of the Galaxy's Edge stuff, and I think Mama Dillo talked about it on her episode, they're amazed by all of it, and it brings them back to you being young and loving Star Wars, or you even working there and how they wish this was around when you were working there, and all of that stuff. So I think they recognize how cool of a ride it was, and they really loved it. Papa Dillo's back got a little jerked in it, so that wasn't
Mhm.
great and kind of spoiled the ending there for him. But yeah, I think I think they loved it otherwise, and they hung out in Galaxy's Edge for a little bit. I think the 10-year-old got some blue milk. They were hanging in front of the Falcon for a
Got
little
some
bit,
pics.
so
That
that
was
was
some
good too.
good.
Yeah,
Did you post that pic of Mama and Papa Dillo in front of the Falcon?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that was, yeah. I think that's interesting. I'll have to like do a deep dive someday with Papa Dillo of like why he never really got into
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I completely understand
Yeah.
the reason behind
Hmm.
it. He was always I remember him
Yeah.
coming to see Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, I got a lot of the toys. He bought a lot of the toys.
Yeah.
But it was always interesting. But love Star Tours. And I think
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
so that part is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Where I feel like the movies, and he likes movies.
Uh-huh.
But,
Mhm. If I can answer Lewis's questions here, so they don't give you an exemption for family. I thought I read you could get more if they were in your family. So this is about the DOS pass. So you can have now I don't know if, let's say, your immediate family was 2 parents and 3 children, if you can get an exemption for something like that. For me, I was able to it was 4 people.
Mhm.
But like because there was 9 of us traveling, I could have all 9 of us added where they were all approved to
Mhm.
go with him, but only 4 people are able to go at one
So him
time.
plus 3. Yeah.
Him plus 3.
Now
So
on Ratatouille, I thought Mr. Snidillo, they would have let Mr. Snidillo go. And they're like, "What? He's not going?" But they weren't
right,
like, "Which 4 is it?" They didn't do
right,
any of that.
right.
I
But
think
in the
Mr. Snidillo
app,
did.
it
Yeah.
we have to pick, like, it won't let us pick more than
Right.
that.
Right.
And on most rides, they are having you scan the tickets.
Yeah.
Now with Tiana's, they let all of us go together.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because of it's a virtual queue situation.
Mhm.
So that's maybe makes it a little bit different. But for anything else, it was only 4. Yeah.
And it's us. We're like, the rules say the rules. The
Mhm.
rules are.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I thought it's cool that they got on that, right? Especially
Yeah.
for Mama Dillo. I thought she
Yeah.
really liked Rise of the Resistance. So I was kind of glad I made that swap. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not, because the 8-year-old's like, you're not going on Rise of the Resistance. I'm like, I'm not gonna not go on Slinky Dog with you. Come
Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
So, but I thought Mama Dillo needed to go on that ride. And, again, we said this 2 years ago, but, more so now. When are they going to get an opportunity to go on these
Right.
rides again?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll wrap things up here with our mid-August meetup, but our mid-August trip report. But meanwhile, we're in the middle of our meetup. If you're listening here on Theme Park Thursday, September the 12th, we'll be at Not So Scary Halloween Party on Friday the 13th. So if you're listening and you see us, put on your mask ears, everyone. That's how you'll probably find us.
Mhm.
And hint, hint, wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. But we are in the parks today on the 12th of September, and we'll be in the parks on the 14th. We got the 3-day, 3-park. So we'll be social mediaing and all of that, doing little pop-ups along the way. I think I secretly have, because we have an itinerary for all the time until Angela Dahlgren gets to town and then came off. But we do have a loose, structured itinerary that does not include my trip to Savi's workshop, but does include a potential Theme Park Thursday live from outside Pizza Rizzo on on this September the 12th. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully we do a couple of more of those along the way. But catch us with our community core. Who will be hanging out with us. And at least we got like 3 like core opportunities to that the OG group from 2023 will be getting together here and hopefully ending with a spectacular pedal session. Until the next trip report, pretty much. She's Jen. And I'm Frank. See you real soon.
Deuces.
right. I know. I didn't just like Lewis and Jeffers at this point. I think Jeffers is on the periphery. But, thanks for
Yeah.
hanging out with
Yeah,
us.
this
For,
whole time.
yeah, good healthy 2 hours here. Jen's got school runs to do in the morning, so we can't hang out for
With a longer commute.
hopefully for not too much longer. So see you in the Discord as always, and yeah, bye.
Deuces. The Dillo's Diz podcast is hosted by Frank Cardillo and Jen Cardillo-Snyder. Music produced by Matt Harvey. Logos and video production courtesy of Snidillo Studios. Dillo's Diz Resort is our Patreon with tiers starting as low as $1 per month. You can visit dillosdizresort.com to learn more. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, X Twitter, and Facebook at Dillo's Diz. Check us out on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/DillosDiz. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there. We also have merch available on TeePublic and Etsy. For all this and more, visit our one-stop shop, dillosdiz.com. Dillo's Diz Podcast 2024.